Saints fans, welcome to a remote episode of the Saints TV podcast. Unfortunately, I've pulled up a bit crook after Sunday night's game, but I'll tell you what, the boys were looking good on Sunday night, and we ended up getting the Chockies over GWS by 12 points, a goal and 6 points, let's call it. Bit of skew with kicking, but nonetheless, it was good to walk out with the 4 points. So, boys, I'm feeling very, very optimistic now, and feeling good about going into next week. How are you boys feeling, Marshy?
Oh, yip, lads and listeners. That was so much fun, to be honest. Like that game, that was, it's not winning any awards for best picture, but it was gritty, it was gutsy, and the boys, I thought we lifted. So, it didn't play our best game of football, but it was certainly some really promising signs that will hold us in good stead, I reckon. But the Bentley Social, that was just too much fun. Like,
it was great.
It was a naughty amount of fun to be having on a school night, but you get that with Saints footy. But Jakey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good, boys. I've got the wine here. First of all, just cheers to Maxi King being back. What a return, 4 goals. He's got the red there as well. You got what tea are you rocking, Joycey?
Just a bit of English breakfast for now. Just a little bit of that. I've been on the green teas all day, but of course, drinking out of the Holy Grail. So
absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. No, it was, mate, the Bentley Social, that was the best it's been so far. The atmosphere was rocking. Like, it really felt like you were at the game, for Sainers that haven't been, like, highly recommend. It was so much fun, especially when Marshy's in the form that he was in. Get along. It's a good time, win, lose, or draw. But obviously Mitch Owens, the downside, that was really heartbreaking. But I'm so glad to hear that he's okay. That's the most important thing.
Definitely.
Just concussion now, no structural damage, and to see the boys lift after that, and especially Caminiti finish the game the way he did, really physical. It didn't stop the boys or put them down, which is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like after watching as well the press conference, I think that Ross Lyon put it really well in saying that we came out after halftime, the assistant coaches, Lenny and Harves and Enright, all came to him and said, we need to fix A, B, and C. So he portrayed the message to the boys in a simpler way and said, we need to fix these elements of the game and then we should come out on top. And it looked like we did. I think we were trying to handball too much in the first half. It was such a hard ground to play any clean footy on if it wasn't by foot, just purely because of the surface. And I will bring up that on Thursday, I caught up with a friend from Sydney, and she told me she runs the Easter show up there, and they use that ground for the Easter show.
He's going with this again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is my minute. I've said it to you three enough. Now the masses need to hear that.
I could just hear the social every now and then. You see like Joycey chirp up about the turf.
The turf.
Yeah, whoever's just come past.
It's the inside scoop. It's the inside scoop, boys. But they use that ground for all their horse events, and apparently, and this is funny because Matty Rowell before every game eats some of the grass. Apparently, it's really toxic, and he shouldn't be consuming it at all. And they have to rip it all up so the horses don't eat it. So they rip up all the grass, lay down better turf for them, and then rip up that turf and then relay the AFL standard turf down, the toxic turf. And I think we saw on the weekend, it was pretty disgusting. It looked like a marvel of old.
It did.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous, like we saw, Joycey, there was patches where there was chunks out of the turf and it was just sand or something, like a little sand pit.
Yeah. It was shocking. It looked like Marvel in 2001 when they haven't got the big LED or UV lights in. But regardless of that, I think we figured out that it was really hard to stick tackles on that ground. As soon as you dropped your knees, your feet would give way. And I think we made the most of that, especially I think Dan Butler had a really good game with taking on the ball. And he was the first one that got his arms up in the air, made sure his arms were free so that they couldn't stick any tackles, and we ended up getting 2 goals from it. So big props to Dan Butler. But we had some really strong elements throughout our game, and I think none stronger than Jack Sinclair putting on, I reckon, the best performance he's ever played for St Kilda.
He's unreal.
It was just so juicy. He came out, it was like 37 disposals or something?
37. Career high, I think.
Yeah, career high. Kicked a couple of snags as well, and they were juicy snags. Like, he's starting to look like Robert Harvey running into that 50 with the big 35 on his back. So he's really opened up another element to his game, which is goal scoring. So I think our midfielders can actually take something from that and go, okay, well, it's not that selfish to run forward and try and have a crack at goal every game.
Even Clark as well. Like, he didn't kick the goal, but he's getting forward and getting some set shots, which is, a bit different to what he's done previously.
Yeah, absolutely. It just gives you so many more avenues to go. But speaking of avenues to go, boys, the return. Marshy, run us through it.
The king, like, and we were delivering it well to him as well. Like, that was a part that was a little bit surprising, sort of going off the last few weeks where, we're sort of bombing it in and whatnot, and that all the forwards that kind of clicked. Like, Higo was leading really well. They just weren't getting in each other's way, and the looks that King did get, they were pretty silver service. So he just stiffens us up in more ways than one. But structurally on field, like, it's just a breath of fresh air, because Caminiti, we'll just put this on the record that when him and Owens had the collision, I was a bit angry. I was just speaking out of hurt. I was, kind of, saying that Caminiti was being a bit careless, a bit reckless with how he approached that contest. But, that in hindsight, it was a bit unfair. It was just such a traumatic thing to see, wasn't it? Because Owens is
I think you had the same reaction when Jordan Roughhead tackled Ben Patton. I think that was that was more careless, but
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But even Owens, like, the flow-on effect from having the king. Owens was sensational in that.
Yeah, he had another first half.
Yeah. So, the Smalls got to work, and it's just the flow-on effect of having Big Maxi. How did you boys see it?
Well, I'm looking at the stats here, and we average 10 to 11 marks inside 50 per game this year.
Yeah.
With Kingy, obviously he took about 4 or 5 inside 50, but the total for the game was 17. So we're plus 7. That's a lot of extra looks at goal,
Yeah. I think we were fortunate in the unkindness of the game that GWS lost Hayne early and also lost Himmelberg. So that was pretty kind to us. But I think the scoreboard was actually pretty kind to GWS. I think that we missed so many set shots that were just gimmies, and usually players that would sunk them. And Owens just from 25 meters out just lined up straight for that left-hand goal post and missed it by about a centimeter, and it went for a point. Clark's usually a dead-eye dick in front of goal. He missed a set shot. We found out what Butler's set shot was pretty bad, and we've also found out Gresh's range, which should be now on notice for the whole team, including Gresh. But in saying that, Gresh's game was really, really good.
Yeah,
that was his best game of the year.
Yeah, he was so team orientated, and he set up this crucial goal for us. It could have been the first, or maybe second quarter.
Might have been the second quarter.
Yeah, he was running towards the boundary, and usually that's where he'd take a fly shot at goal and try and go for the miraculous. But he just popped it up to the top of the square, 15 meters out, and we ended up getting a goal from it. I think that's the confidence that comes from having King back in the team, just to go, okay, well, I'd rather have it in his hands 15 meters out than off of my boot on a very tough angle. about 30 out. So I thought that showed real maturity from Gresh. Some other players that I think deserve a mention. Ross Lyon talked about him got asked about him in the press conference.
Yeah.
Liam Stocker. I thought he was
Stocker
brilliant.
pee in his cornflakes or something.
No, is he trolling? Is he?
No, but I think it's perfect coaching, and it's exactly what Ross Lyon used to do to Clinton Jones. And that's why Clinton was such a consistent player for such a good period at St Kilda, was because he was always on knife's edge. So some players need that to keep them motivated. Like, mate, you're coming in for your second chance. We haven't extended you on everything. You got to play some really good football and show us that you can improve from where you are to stay at this club. Like, I'm not going to give you an easy in. You haven't got the time behind you like Caminiti does. He's 18. He's got time behind him. You're coming into your best football now. Let's see what we can do with you. And I think it was, even though Liam Stocker had a great game, I thought that showed incredible coaching after the game. Just to go, yeah, he was pretty good. There's some things we can work on, but yeah, he was good. Not to. I don't think Ross likes blowing smoke up anyone's bum.
No. Well, he talked down Kingy before he brought him in. It was genius. Obviously, it doesn't take a footy genius to realize the potential of Max King, but he's like, I haven't really seen him play, so I've been told he's a good player. I've been told he's got some talents. Like, he knows. He's watched football the last couple of seasons. He knows what Max King's capable of, but he's just put the lid on it because he's coming back from injury. He's not going to just bring him in and he's the savior. There's no messiah, like we've talked about many times, as much as we kind of talked him up as that for a lot of his career so far. But it was kind of just, I don't know, low key, He just came in and did his thing. It's like he hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, I think the only person that he'll ever talk highly of is probably Lenny Hayes. But Lenny Hayes was that player that just wanted to keep proving himself to Ross Lyon. And I think that's what Lyon is trying to develop there as well. Like, people have told me King's a good player. He hasn't proved it to me yet. That's the most important thing, is he's got to prove to me that that he's a good player, because I'm the coach. I'm the one that's going to pick him for the side. So he's got a bit to prove. And I like that. I like that no one's got an easy ticket in this side. And that's why it's been so difficult to bring players in from Sandringham, especially you look at Marcus Windhager's numbers last week. He wasn't a shoe-in for the game. He's really making people earn it. So, and the best way to expose those type of players and the players that you want to keep and the players you want to deny is by putting them in the senior side and seeing how they roll with the big dogs. So, I really like it from Ross. I think that's fantastic. And especially, we were getting carried away last year. We were 7-3 last year at the same stage, and we were getting carried away.
Oh yeah,
Ross has just kept. Yeah, the lid was off, but Ross has just kept us so calm and so leveled, and I love it. I absolutely.
The lid will never be off. The lid's never coming off. Ross, is it?
No, never. Not until that Premiership Cup is in his hands.
That's it. Yeah. The lid's off when the corks popped and we're celebrating. That's literally when Ross would break a smile. And then I'm not even sure if he would, to be honest.
He's lost too many.
Yeah, winning 19 games in a row and the lid was still on. So if it doesn't come off of that, then 8-3 or 7-3 is not going to cut it.
Yeah, definitely. I think talking midfielders, Marshall, again, his ruck work over the past couple of weeks has been sublime. Like since that Port Adelaide game, his service to our midfielders, we've started to turn the page now. We're starting to win centre clearances for the game. I'm not sure what the numbers were. I know they got stoppage clearance by quite a lot.
Killed us there. 15. They were 30 to 15 out their way. Dominated us.
It was a little. Watching the game and watching teams play against us and doing those clearance numbers. Look at them press up numbers from their half back line to the back of the pack, to the back of the contest. So they got that ball out and then long. A lot of the time it's long down the line, but a lot of the time it's intercepted and we don't give them an easy run. So when it's a stoppage clearance and we lose it, I'm not too concerned. When it's centre clearance and we lose it, I am concerned. But we've started to even up the scales a little bit, and I'm loving it. I'm really, really loving it. The service he's giving to Clark, to Crouch, to Ross, to Steele is fantastic. So another great game for Rowan. Steele, Very, very good.
That's better. That's back to what we love.
Yeah, the 11 tackles. He was the only one on the ground for us that was actually like burying and sticking tackles. And it showed. Like, he has just got ultimate form.
So his rehab's done, yeah? Is that 4 weeks?
Yeah, he's back. He's back, is he?
Yeah. I reckon he's back. I reckon that game will give him
full
such
contact.
great confidence. Yeah. And he was the one. And what I loved seeing is that the first kick that he's had at every game since being back, he's muffed it. The first kick he had back was straight onto King's chest, and it was a goal.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
That was scrumptious.
It just looked like he was back at home. He's like, yep, I've got this. And I'm sure he would have had a lot of friends and family there too.
Yeah, on Steele, I didn't notice it, but Mummy did. Did you boys see him interact with Toby Green after the game? The handshakes?
Nah, go on.
No, I didn't.
Apparently, I don't know. A bit of a moot point if neither of you guys saw it, but apparently, there's some terse words exchanged, and Steele didn't look too happy. Apparently,
nice. Good, because Toby Green was sinking his fists into Patton and Jimmy Webster all night. And can I say, I forgot to say this about Rowan Marshall. Well done. Pest of the Week award to Rowan Marshall. Jeez, he knew it was such an important part of the game, and he was on his back with Toby Green in a tackle, and he's just giving Toby Green a little bit of a 1-2 on the chest, grabbing the jumper, getting him fired up because he's like, I'm sucking this bloke in here. I'm getting a free kick. As soon as Rowan Marshall turns his back, cops a whack. Didn't even get him on the chest. It was just on the arm. Yeah. And he goes, oh, and gets a free kick out of it. That is just standing up to a bully A grade. That is just fantastic. And that lost GWS the game. They could have snatched it, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, nah, we're on top here. This bloke is not captain material. He has been the worst thing for his attitude has been the worst thing for his club. The worst thing.
He made the didn't he make the team of the round though? You boys
team of the week. What a wank. Like
SEN's the team of the round.
Yeah. Oh, brownies.
What did he actually do? I know he kicked a couple, but what was
he kicked 2 goals, one, and he had 14 or 15 disposals. Luke Bruce had a ripper game for Hawthorn, kicked 3. Jack Higgins up the other end for us.
3. Dan Butler, 2 goals.
Yeah.
5 tackles. Like, they were statistically better.
They were. That was so much better. Toby Green. I don't get why everyone's got the goggles on for Toby Green. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player, but he's got a shit attitude. So I don't have time for his antics. Not at all.
And speaking of Higo, he is quietly putting together a really consistent, good season. And he's channeling the Roo. He's got the wrists taped up. And the way that he's just leading out into the pockets and just taking clutch grabs and just wearing contact every time he gets the ball, and then going back and dobbing them, he's playing like Rewalt, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and he came out and he had a rough first quarter. He didn't see much of the football in the first quarter. He's starting to get tagged, but he's starting to learn. And I think you're right. He has taken a book out of a leaf out of the Rewalt book, and that he moves up the ground. He's like, all right, well, maybe I'll just go up to centre half back and help out the boys up there for a sec.
Exactly.
And then I'll burn him on the way into a 50.
Yeah.
And then he gets out the back. He gets a couple of crumbs. Mason Wood with a nice handball to him. Like, just superb small forward football. That was so much better than what we've seen in weeks gone by, wasn't it?
Yeah. The smalls are really working well together.
They are. We're going to talk about someone that just didn't look himself yesterday, boys. What we do there. The old Sebastian Marshy.
Seb Ross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a tough one for Seb.
He's in a bit of a funk. But is he in a negating role? Because I feel like his role, because he gets talked up by the boss.
He did
as sort of the leadership and things like that. So without knowing what's going on there, I wouldn't be surprised if he's had a bit more of a negating role where touches aren't the be all and end all. But that said, his disposal has been not what you would expect from
I think that's
a player of his caliber and experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't say his effort and anything's dropped. That's just, I think that's the only thing. You nailed it. Efficiency. When he gets the footy, just use it a tad better. He's always getting in the right spots. He's chasing, he's tackling. That's all the stuff you want to see. It's just that little finesse when he's got the footy.
What I find interesting is that, so you say he's got a negating role. He's had 12 disposals. In those 12 disposals, he's had 50% efficiency, which is just, that's pretty awful, and 2 tackles.
How many kicks out of those 12?
I'm not too sure.
Most of them?
12.
12
12. It's 12
kicks.
No, not 9
kicks. 9 kicks.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going well by foot. And I'm just trying to see in the midfield for them who he was negating. Because Whitfield went nuts. Tom Green had a good game. Jake Kelly had a good game. I'm not too sure what his role was on the ground, but then again, like, he was talked up by Ross. So, maybe it's a 3/4 time huddle thing where he's really got the chockies. But, I don't know. It was Ross of old. It was rabbit in the headlight stuff. And there was just one passage of play that, like, he held off the ball, and I know, Marshy, you looked over at me and said, "Oh, that's a shocking goal," but it ended up being a turnover, and then GWS got a goal. So
got to go to that first option, mate, on the wing there.
He had an option on the wing and an option for a fast play. As far as we could see, there was nothing in front of him but turf, and I'd prefer that than letting GWS's fast backline, because they have a fast backline. They don't have a particularly tall backline. They've got a fast backline. Get back in numbers. And that's what happened. They all got back in numbers and spread the ground and down the other end for a goal. So that's where I was a little bit unhappy that he didn't take the fast play to just get it out of the 50. He just lingered around a little bit. And I was like, that's the Ross of old trying to take control of the game and trying to go, nah, boys, this is what we're trying to do. But it just wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So
it did look. It did. Admittedly, it did look a little bit awkward. So we had the fast break, and then it's just gone sideways. But you know,
So
Crouchy, I thought he's sort of tapered off a little bit. He's still had
a great start.
7 tackles, which is nice. I think second most on the ground. So he didn't get much of the footy though. Only the 19. I think, is that 2 weeks in a row? Is that under 20? That'd be a rarity for him. I think last week he was around 19, 18 as well against the Crows. So that's very different to the first 6 weeks where he was getting 25 plus every week.
Yeah, he was leading our BNF in the first 6 weeks. Completely. He was so good and flying very much under the radar there too. But I'll say that about a few players as well, that they're not being as brave as they were earlier in the season, and they're not having that vim and vigor about going for the ball and taking that tough kick and taking that tough mark. Same thing with Battle. Battle wasn't horrible, but he's doing some uncharacteristic things. So, usually he's got the sticky mitts. Battle doesn't drop. He's got sticky mitts, but he just seems like he's not wholehearted at the ball at the moment. You'll see a lot of times the ball will go through his hands because he's expecting contact. We weren't seeing that from him in the first part of this season. So I'd love to see him gain a little bit of confidence from that game in that second half from when we were moving the ball well. And he can definitely take example from a bloke called Callum Wilkie, who just had another sublime game.
The man's a robot. He's a robot.
He is a robot.
22, 9 marks. The whole back line, though, really. I mean, we kind of talked about it, Joycey. We thought Dukes, up until a point, was actually going all right.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised how many people have DM'd me after the game saying, how the hell
it's
do we
just
have him?
like...
And I'm like, I didn't actually... I know he made a few mistakes. I didn't notice him being as bad as what people are saying in the DMs, I don't know if you guys...
I thought it was good. Like, he was physical. Like, he brought his physicality back, and there was a couple of moments where he didn't bring that, and, they kicked a goal or what have you. And I know people just highlight just those sort of mistakes and just go, that sort of tars their whole game or skews their view of their game. But I don't know, I thought it was a bit harsh. But what were you going to say, Joycey?
I think his role has changed. in the last few weeks, and he's trying to play a lock-in role in our forward 50. A lot of the time you'll see him cruising around the perimeter there and letting Wilkie take his man or Battle take his man in the defense because they have such confidence in each other now. I think it's been a really, really good move. So we've seen him impacting contests further up the ground than usual. But unfortunately, I think where he makes the mistakes is that work ethic to get back he has, but he just can't complete it because I think he's a bit cooked. So we saw that young kid for GWS take a mark in between Wilkie and Howard, which was just strange. And you could see Howard go up in the contest. He looked pretty cooked. So he's doing a lot more work than he's ever done around the football field. And then he does have those bad moments by hand, usually, where he just completely misses the ball. He almost spends it before he gets it.
Well, that's it. And like, that handball that just sort of missed the mark, and Cadman kicked that goal. Like, yeah, and then people like his disposal shit. But I'm looking at it here. The man's sitting at 93%.
Yeah, his disposal's gotten really, really good. It's just that when he makes a mistake, it is very much highlighted because
it's in the back line.
It's in the back line. Yeah.
If he does that handball in the forward half and they rebound but don't score, it's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when Jack Higgins misses a handball from
it's the
3 meters out.
Sorry to jump in, but it's the equivalent of, say, King missing a couple of easy goals.
Yeah.
That's the forward equivalent, is missing goals.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
And that gets highlighted big time.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that should be the highlight from the game rather than the couple of mistakes that Dougal Howard made.
What is it? 3 goals, 5 goals straight. And then it's really only the second part of the last quarter where we kicked 1 goal or 2 goals, 7.
Yeah.
That's where it blew out, our kicking.
Yeah.
But Nasiah Wanganeen Miller.
Yeah.
He was like Sinclair was fantastic, but it's almost like cheating these days. We have to take Sinclair out of BOG calculations because Nasiah, I thought that was his best game for us. And he's been excellent all season, but he just turns up, and he's another one that's not afraid to take the game on. And like all the Indigenous boys on the weekend, how good was our top, by the way? We didn't talk about it last week.
The uniform.
But, that's just blending, Saints history with, Indigenous celebration. It was just, it was beautiful.
That's got to come
the boys
back
lifted.
Year. They did.
That needs to be our clash, surely.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that's a very good call, mate.
Cool. Yeah, I do like that. Hill as well. Great game. Yep. He worked so hard, and he was working hard all the way until the final siren went. So another great game from Bradley Hill. Good stuff. I think, who else? Jimmy Webster coming back in. He was great as well. I thought he was really good. I thought Patton, when he came on the ground as a sub, had a great game as well. He was mostly up on the wing. And then we dropped him back in the last quarter to make sure Toby Green wasn't going anywhere, and he did so. So we saw on camera, Toby Green laying a couple of fists into him.
As he loves to do.
And Ben Patton just going, "What are you doing, mate?" Like, he's just such a cool and calm character as Ben Patton. We love him for that. So all around, Sainers, I think it was a good game, and the score really didn't show how well we played. I think we kicked how many goals? 12 goals, 13 or
13, 14. So 27 scoring shots to 20.
Yeah. And you turn 6 more of those easy set shots, or not easy set shots, but gettable set shots into goals. I think that's more indicative of the statistics and everything.
And we're getting the ball in real easy. That's the most warming part about it all, is that once we sort of work that aspect out of the game, and I think it was like 28 scoring shots or whatever from 60 entries, that's 48%. So turn that over the other way around, like what you're saying, just get more bang for buck, then we're laughing. We're in a really good position.
Yeah. Now, of course, we do have Mitch Owens will be out next week with concussion protocol. And I think it was really great of Ross Lyon just to go, you know what, I think that it'll probably be a 3-weeker for him because we just want to make sure he's really, really okay because he's a special young player. And I think we've learned from history about bringing players like Justin Kosicki back too early from concussions, and he was a really special player that it can affect you quite poorly. So I think they'll take the 3-week precaution with him rather than 2 weeks. So he'll have next week off, the bye off, and then potentially the game after that. I reckon we'll rest him as well. Make sure
it's a Thursday game as well.
Yes.
So
it's a quick comeback after the bye. So I think we'll give him time. But I want to bring something up that I brought up with you boys about just a little issue I had with some leadership when the concussion happened and the stretcher came out. I just didn't see the boys rally. And I saw the boys get into a loose huddle and had a little bit of a chat, but I didn't see anyone get over to Caminiti, who looked like he was almost in tears because he felt so guilty about what happened. He was really shook. He was really shook that he's just, unfortunately, his knee's gone into Mitch Owens' head and his mate's been taken off on a stretcher with a neck brace on. So it looks pretty bad. But what I'd love to see next time is that the boys get in a really, really tight huddle. But before the boys get in the huddle, Jack Steele grabs Caminiti, says, "It's all right, mate. He's part of the game. They'll look after him. He'll be back. Don't worry. You'll see him later. We've got a game to get on with, and we need you to do your job. So we'll go and see him after the game, wherever he is, whether he's on the bench or if he's, out somewhere else being looked after. We'll get to it. But right now we've got a job to do. So come on." And then he brings him to the front of the pack, and Jack Steele talks to the boys and addresses the boys.
It's just never been Steele's go, unfortunately.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Wilkie. That might be Wilkie's job, but it needs to happen because, usually reactions are a little bit quicker after something like that happens. You don't really wait until the halftime siren comes along. Usually there's an immediate impact because you get a chance to go again. You've got this 5-minute timeout. Use it to your advantage and let's get going. So let's fix what we need to fix and let's get back out on the ground. So, and then the old Joyce said back in the day, what would happen is the coach would immediately leave the box, and go down to the boundary line and pull everyone over to the boundary line and bark out instructions. It's not against the rules. You're allowed to be on the boundary line as the coach. No one's allowed to come off. No one's allowed to go on, but they can all stand there and listen to instructions. So there's a few things that can happen in that situation. We've got a few young boys that probably haven't dealt with situations like that before. And I think that's something that we maybe need to implement next time that it happens, is just to really rally together and go, okay, boys, we'll look after him. We'll get this guy line for our man and for our brother. And I think next time I really want to see something like that happen. So
hopefully there's no next time this year.
Hopefully there's no that's exactly right. Yeah, hopefully there's no next time. But there will be a time throughout your career where your mate goes off on a stretcher. And it's up to you to decide how do you react to that and how your teammates react to that. So
I've seen it. I've seen it one too many times playing footy with Joycey. So weekly basis.
Weekly
look at this guy
doing the Gary line.
Not even injured, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But really well said, Joycey. And the last thing I'd add to the whole Machito business is I was really impressed with how the club, got on the front foot and communicated how he was going, and particularly, on the socials and things like that. Like that was really, it was a nice touch. I think they clearly understood the gravity of, because the social, it was silent for the only time all night for about 5 minutes really. So the club did well in not only communicating that to like the commentators as well, just to let them know, he's sweet. He'll be out on the bench.
Spot on.
Second half.
Yep. And not only that, it shows how tough Machado is and how much leadership potential he's got. He's like, nah, I'm going back out and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm watching my boys. He looked crook as.
To be honest, I'm more concerned about Caminiti's knee.
Yeah. He'll miss next week, won't he?
Yeah, that's it. with a ruptured kneecap.
Ruptured kneecap. Yeah.
Boys, I reckon good win. We'll go to a bit of a break now and then get stuck into some Jakey's junk mail.
Let's do it.
Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail.
Let's bloody do it. Let's get stuck in.
Joycey must be crook.
I'm just not going to respond. Yeah, I'm just letting him keep going. All right. Angus.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, how are we going to end the show?
Well, we'll find out, Joycey.
I don't know. Okay. If you set it up,
it'll just organic, mate. This stuff is never scripted. This just happens. It's just organic.
This just happens. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Let the creative juices just flow, mate. I don't know what I'm doing there. Just let them flow, mate.
Yeah, just let them flow, man. Let's go. Angus.
Ozzy Osbourne there. All right. This is from Angus. Hey, boys. Really loving the potty. Listening every week. Thanks for that, mate. I was at the game and just wanted to say the atmosphere and the Saints fans were amazing. Always getting around our boys and cheering as if it was aisle 29. Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Not sure if it was noticeable over the tally, but I was really impressed. Keep up the great work.
Well,
definitely was. Definitely was. Yeah.
Especially when King took that first mark. It was pretty loud.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And like, I suppose just the broader way of looking at things is how nice would it be for that's our first interstate away game win under the new regime. So the boys would be feeling pretty bloody chuffed with themselves, I reckon.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's from Chad the Chad again. Weekly submission. We just spoke about it actually, but he mentioned the red, black, and yellow needs more airtime. An awesome look that could be a fantastic third strip. So he agrees with that sentiment, Marshy. The clash strip would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Marshy's
I'd buy that for $1.
$1. Zach's asking what to do with Doogs. Hello, lads. Great work this year as usual with the potty. Gritty win against the Giants. They have class and we were pushed considering they made us look silly at stoppages. We move on. Doogs down back. Liability for about a month now. Hasn't played with that run like he did since 2020. Do you think our system has changed rapidly since that Port loss with the backs not getting the same support from the midfielders? Windy has to come in and I think Highmore as an emergency for Patton.
Thoughts see, I think that's going too far. We've still got the best defense in terms of score against in the AFL.
That's it.
So you're really channeling an individual here, and this I feel like was a bit of a Brad Hill situation too. A lot of people channeled their grief into Brad Hill and an individual, but you got to look at the team and look how well our defense is doing as a structure. Why would you do anything to change that after a mulligan last week against Adelaide, as Ross put it, and then another tidy week with maybe 2 slip-ups for the whole game again this week from our defense? So
I think people, you nailed it, Joycey. People are looking so much at the individual players. Ross has always been about the collective. Like even in the 09-10 teams, you could spot. I could probably watch the games back and go, Zach Dawson made about 3 mistakes in that game, but our defense was still the best defense by about 15 goals. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
So why would you change it? There's no reason to change it. Until we start leaking 15 goals a week, there's no problem as far as I'm concerned.
No, definitely.
And maybe there is something individually that Dougal can do to improve his game, but his the blank slate in front of him has been absolutely chiseled out with 80% of his game tick, 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 tick. You know, if you're looking at the bloody 10 commandments, he's fulfilling 8 of them, and the extra 2 are just on there for the back end, like, you know, finishing your disposal off well. That's stuff that really can come good throughout a season, and he has been very good at it throughout this season, and he has played within his limits this season. But yeah, he makes a couple of mistakes. It's all right.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. And like we everyone's got pretty short memories in. You just have to cast your mind back to last season when we lost Dukes for an extended period. We were toast without him.
Yeah.
You know, he's the only 200 centimetre key defender we got.
Yep.
So,
this one's from Andrew. Which 3 midfielders do you turn to when the team has their backs against the wall?
I go Steele for one, definitely. It has been Crouch up to the past couple of weeks, but then it'd be someone like a point of difference, so a Sinclair or even a Gresham. When our back's against the wall and you need clearance desperately, look no further than Jade Gresham. When he got moved into the midfield on the weekend, he got 2 clearances in an instant.
Yeah,
he is just so good at finding the footy. So, I don't know. And then I think, go on.
I was just going to say one that's sort of, steadily up the charts in a terrific year is Hunter Clark. Like he's another one was that point of difference kind of, what he offers. And there are a few occasions where, he just pulls something out of nowhere and just gets the ball moving in a positive manner for us. It's lovely to see.
Well said.
Alexander's asking, thoughts on the lads all rocking the mullet? Tribute to the true mullet king, Sinclair.
Love it.
I love it.
Love it.
I'm
going to
get one back. Yeah, I'm trying to get one back. Like I've had a hairy. And speaking of hair, I haven't dyed it, everyone.
Everyone, have a close
everyone's
look.
Asking.
This is like when they used to critique, who was it, Nathan Brown on Triple M. They thought he had Botox and he just said no. But his wrinkles in his forehead disappeared overnight. That's the same situation we've got here. Look at this dark hair.
Look at this dark hair. This is my natural color. So I dyed my hair blonde. My hair blonde, and I've been rocking it for the past 3 years, but now I've gone back to my natural color.
So, but what's happened though? Like, have you just been using some like industrial strength Pantene over the last few days?
It's all the mosh. It's mosh, mate.
It's mosh.
Has done this.
I'm on the mosh, and it's bloody good. Like my hair's really thickened up. But the one way that you can tell that I am not dyeing my hair is that here there's a lot of greys going on. You think that if I was going to dye my hair, I'd get rid of the greys? Nah, they're there. I'm happy.
Oh, Joycey,
this is the choice of old.
The choice of old.
This is the choice of old.
He's back.
Love it. You do. He's looking nice, mate. But
thank you. That's kind.
I'm breaking ranks here because for far too long I've been pigeonholed by Aditi and what my do looks like because I had a perm once, right? I got the curls, the tight curls. But it only lasted 2 weeks before Aditi made me made it go off. So I'm doing it. I'm going to get a cheeky mullet. You guys watch.
I used to rock the biggest mullet ever when I was about around 10. I was probably like year 6 to year 9, probably. It was like so thick.
I want photos.
It was more the plugger mullet,
Yeah,
like that sort of mullet.
Did you have the blonde tips as well? Like, did you dye any of your hair?
Yeah, blonde? I think I've told you this story, boys. But it was like probably year 10 when I was getting into the cool groups, obviously. And mum used to still obviously take me to the hairdresser because I was a little introvert, didn't want to go and get the haircut on my own. I'm like, Mum, take me. And she's reading the magazines all day at home, and she sees the pop stars doing the dyeing their hair yellow tips and blonde tips and whatever you want. And she's like, Jake, I reckon you should give that a go. I reckon it'd suit you really well. You look really cool.
Who'd you get? Did you get the Timberlake?
Mate, I wish there was a photo. I don't know what I got, but all I know is the nickname Cheetah Boy was born the next day.
Cheetah Boy.
Cheetah Boy. It was just in different spots.
And I remember for the next 6 months, every day I got little incremental haircuts to get rid of it. Took about 6 months, and it's just stuck around for 6 months. Cheetah Boy.
That's
I thought it was because I was fast.
Yeah, Cheetah Boy.
Cheetah Boy.
Cheetah Boy. Nah. That's
boy.
That time has passed. That alter ego is now He's now dead. So
okay, so I feel like we have now come into a little bit of territory. We still haven't discussed what the punishment is for losing the tipping competition, and I am a long way down.
I'm sorry.
I feel like Jake, if somehow I get on top of you, Cheetah Boy needs to come back.
No chance.
Cheetah Boy. I want Cheetah Boy.
What's your overall tips? What's your total?
I think I've just cracked 50.
Yeah, what am I on?
It's pretty bad. Let's do a quick assessment, boys.
Let's see where we're at. I know Marshy's doing all right.
Total of 56 and
bloody
overall.
North Melbourne. I was so upset.
You almost had it.
I would have been such a king.
218th out of 271. That's atrocious.
Right.
That's
I'm 80.
14 places.
What are you, Marshy?
I'm Timmy Membry.
Oh, nice. And how many did you get this week?
I got 7. So
I got 6.
North really sunk my battleship.
6 for me. I'm 81st at the moment.
So
are you bulk billings?
Yeah, that's it. But Danny Free's been on top of the ladder all season. He or she or they is 70, which is that's pretty solid.
They've found a cheat code for ESPN footy tips.
Yeah. All right. So Danny Free, investigation pending.
Yeah.
And then like the next one's like there's a bunch of 67s. And we've got a couple of 9
we got 3
that we need to revisit.
One, I've messaged the winner this week because he got closest on the margin.
On the margin,
yep.
I think he was 3 off. So I've messaged. I can't remember what the name was, but I've sent them a DM. So if they're listening, check your DMs on ESPN because we want to give you a prize. What was it?
G Train Express.
That's the one. Yep. So G Train Express. I've DM'd you, mate, or missus, and you'll win a prize. So just hit us up.
Speaking of prizes, I feel like we can drop it where I think we need to choose the best tipping name because there's a few good names in there. There's a few good names in there.
Yeah,
so
that's a good one. So I reckon at the end of the year we can do a little
presentation.
I don't know. Yeah, like the final potty of the year or something. We can give out some awards to some lucky winners.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll keep going with some more junk mail. What do we got here? Nathan is asking, should we look at giving Van Ayres some games before season's end? Good size with potential. Bit of Van Ayres action.
I'm going to have to jog my memory. I can't remember what he looks like.
He's a massive unit, massive unit.
He's got a nice mullet.
Yeah, nice mullet, so that'll work.
I reckon potentially towards the end of the year, but he's, I've been enjoying Batch's review notes from each game, and by the sounds of it, and from what I've seen, he looks a little bit. He hasn't got the tank yet, so I don't think you'd be setting him up to win at this stage of his career. But if there's a personnel crisis, then he may get a shot.
196, 101 keg.
Yeah,
big boy.
There was a photo I think of him standing next to can't remember who it was in the preseason, but it might have been even King, but stacked up pretty well, 1-on-1.
And he loves the mongrel side of things as well. So
he's like the Caminiti for the back line.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
is he a defender?
Yeah, he's a defender.
Yum.
Mate.
Yum. Sorry, I've been a bit behind on all of that stuff.
Yeah, he's a good pick for us. He was another steal from the draft, I believe.
Love it.
Could have gone top 20, top 30. Tommy is asking, what, you don't reckon he could have?
Oh, no. No, yeah.
And a little giggle there, mate.
I was going to say, I want to say Isaac Giller.
Don't giggle, mate. Don't giggle.
All right, back to my business, devil one.
This is from Tommy. Tommy K. Does Membry make the starting forward line when all the young boys are healthy? So we've got Owens, we've got Caminiti, we've got King back. Can we play Membry as well with all the other 4 of them?
Well, he needs to prove it, doesn't he?
That's
going to be the test for Membry this week.
Yep.
Coming back into the side after concussion. He needs to prove himself. He needs to come out and help his team on the way to on the way to a big victory.
Yeah.
So that's I think.
And I think we touched on it before, where basically if we were to go for Membry, Caminiti, King, then that could push, Mitch Owens to somewhere else on the ground because he can play everywhere, Owens. So get him in the guts.
Yep. Up the guts to Kingy. God, I had that stuck in my head all bloody night last night.
Up the middle.
Up the middle, King. Me and Jess actually just randomly started singing that in the car on the way home for no reason at all. Jess is getting so into it. She loved it.
Oh, beauty. That's what we like.
Oh,
so love when the ladies get around L29. That's what
Sinclair
it's about.
one as well. I mean, that's just a winner every day of the week.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's one of the best ones for one of the best players. Nathan's asking, does Max King look a little bit like Borat? He's got a bit of resemblance about him.
He is also very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Very tall.
Oh no, we're gonna get Borat people asking
we'll get
for a Borat review of the game. We can't have that.
My brother, he from Gold Coast. I buy chair, he buy chair. I make top 8. He cannot afford top 8. Great success.
Bloody hell! I want that to be an episode for the potty one day. Just get it. Success.
That's a trend on TikTok right now, Jake. You should be on that.
Is it?
Yeah. That sequence for Borat. You should use that for the King brothers. That's good.
I might have to, mate.
That's tops.
Long Shanks is asking, what's going on with the boys' collars? Seemed like everyone had something popping out the back. Now,
the GPSs.
Yeah.
The GPSs kept coming loose, and I saw Brad Hill, thought it was cute. He popped Hunter Clark's back in after a contest or a goal.
He tucked it in for him.
It's like a little tag, yeah. So cute. But yeah, I think it's just a design fault from the new jumpers. I don't know if they're made of a different material or if we had to order them in a bit quicker or whatnot. But yeah, the GPSs kept popping out the back because they got a little pocket. And that's where Jai Simpkin reached into a couple of weeks ago for Mateus Filippo or whoever it was, and he threw it away and gave away a 50-meter penalty. Yeah, so that's where the little tracker goes for the boys.
Beautiful, boys. Well, that's I'm just checking now, but that looks like the last one. So that's junk mail.
Beautiful. Great questions
Very
there.
good.
Yeah, very nice. All right. Boys.
I did get a just one photo sent in from someone. I'll try and show it on camera. 1 point off being a grand final winning signed Guernsey. New addition to the office.
Wow.
That's 2010?
That's my favorite.
Yeah, isn't it? It's the best one. Love that Guernsey.
I love that. Yeah, that's so nice. I think Marshy didn't like it.
I didn't like
much.
it. No, it's too white.
I love the white saintly.
It was too clean.
It was too clean. Hawthorn this week. Marvel. 1:10 on a Saturday. You can't ask for a better time to get to the footy.
1:45, Joyce.
Oh, 1:45. It's not 1:10.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. 1:45. So we will be there. Make sure you come down to the social club. I'm not sure who they've got lined up for us this week to interview, but we will be interviewing players. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very nice game to get down to. Hopefully a big win against Hawthorn. We'll see how we go. They are.
Yeah. Who do you reckon we could get as a guest on the social? Got to be a big name, surely.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting Machito. I don't think you'll be able to answer too many questions.
Just sits there.
Yeah, you'll just stand there and nod. I don't think we want to repeat
Zachy Jones. Maybe a bit of Zachy Jones.
That'd be nice. A little bit of Zachy Jones would be good. I haven't met him yet. That'd be nice.
Tommy Highmore, possibly, or one of the VFL
boys. Yeah, when
boys?
is Andy playing?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Also had a loss on the weekend, did Sandy.
Yes.
To GWS. Just too strong on their home deck. So
playing on Saturday at 5:00 at RSEA. So after the
they're playing at Moorabbin.
Yeah, so
that's
people
sick.
could probably go from Marvel back to Moorabbin if they wanted, support the boys against Coburg.
That's nice.
Could be nice.
Yeah, they'll have the lights on as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa. That's interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
Ideas.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Off to RSEA Park. Watch the boys, and then off to the Bentley Social afterwards. Big.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, we got Hawthorn coming off the back of 116-point odd win against West Coast.
Who would have thought?
Oh, jeez.
I guess
They're up and
the
about.
West Wipes.
The West Wipes.
Yeah, but
That's
you said
good.
it yesterday.
Just
You
came
said
up
it
with
yesterday, Joyce. You didn't. You said if
that's
we
crisp.
played him, we'll probably get away with a lazy 2-goal win against
Yeah,
West
yeah.
Coast.
Oh, we'll scrape across the
never
line
flog 'em.
against the West Coast. So
Yeah.
the West Wipes. But yeah, it's interesting seeing the dynamic in that game because West Coast traditionally love a slow game and Hawthorn traditionally love a really, really fast game. So I think that we can expect a game similar to GWS in the way that it's going to be played. I think it's going to be fast, frenetic football, and whoever is the most polished side will come out with the chocolates on the weekend. And they are off some good training drills against West Coast. So they know what works now, and we really have to negate that. Mitch Lewis kicked 6 goals and had 24 disposals in what I reckon has been the best game from an AFL player this year, bar maybe Charlie Curnow, also against the West Wipes, who kicked 9 goals. So,
and Lewis, he nearly went bunter against us at the G. I think it was last year, maybe.
I think he hit 1 goal 5.
Yeah. So may that rain.
Yeah. So there's definitely some things to take care of. Their rucks are massive. Like Ned Reeves is huge. So I think he might have come off injured last week. So he might be a little bit of a shadow overhead for him. Yeah, Ned Reeves sub injured. So he might not play. So Lloyd Meek, who's still a good ruckman from he came over from Fremantle, I think, as part of the whole Jackson trade.
Yeah.
He's still quite formidable. They had 32 hitouts apiece last week against the West Wipes. So, and then Jacob Kizitsky got injured. So he might have a bit of a question mark over him. But we know with the Hawks that they play 4 quarters of football. They play 4 quarters of running football. And they do have lapses, but something that they will always try to do is break lines. So they got real close to us in the second time that we played them last year because they finished the game very, very strong. Do you remember they came back and I think we only ended up winning by a couple of goals?
Yeah, that was scary. I remember
that.
that.
We were 40 points up or something at 3/4 time, and then they just came home with with the wind at their back. They were just going absolutely berserk. So we need to be prepared for that. We need to make sure that we're running 4 quarters of good football and that we can have our break the week after for the bye, but we just really need to bring the smack down to the Hawks.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to play hard.
Yeah, that last quarter against against GWS in the third quarter really did fill me with confidence that we can come out and regain a little bit of that form we had at the start of the year. But yeah, they're you can't blink against them because they'll run off on you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. What are you boys looking for next week or this week?
Probably more of the same.
Yeah, definitely. But it kind of feels like it's been a massive season so far where if it just over the last few weeks, it seems that it's all kind of caught up to us a bit. Like we're playing such a high octane game and you can tell a few players they're frothing at the mouth. They need to just take it easy for a week and bring it into the bye. So if we can just get over the line, I don't care if we beat Hawthorn by 10 points or whatever, just as long as we get the 4 and it can just reset and then go again for a big second half. So go again with 8-3, but just carry on that good work.
Yeah.
I think when I say more of the same, I really mean more of that intensity, but probably just tidy up the finishing.
Yeah.
Because if we do, I just feel like it should be a comfortable win. Despite the fact that they've they're obviously going to have momentum. Any team that comes off a win like that, no matter who they play, whether it's a good team or a shit team, it's just going to make them feel good and make them want to play the same way. So, I mean, they don't play too different to the Giants. The Giants go through the guts. They play on at all costs. They slingshot the footy. They're very quick rebound. It's just about us turning it over as quickly as possible and flinging it back before they can get set up, you know?
Yeah.
So we've kind of played the perfect team in a way this week to really prep for that speed and rebound footy that the Hawks play anyway.
Yeah.
That's a good
funny
call.
that
And then even, sorry.
No, go on.
And Adelaide as well. So Adelaide sort of, they do that, but the best. And then, got the Giants. And then, like you say, Hawks. So,
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if we can really negate them this weekend, because we've struggled over the past couple of weeks to stop them stop the slingshot. I think that comes from mainly our zone, and how much it messes with our zone, because running with the football is the way to get through it. And the way that they've stopped us, every team since round 4 or 5 has gone man on man against us. They never go zone. You watch when we're kicking out from full back, everyone has a man. So it'll be interesting to see if Hawthorn go with that. I think they will. But we've really got to back ourselves in. We're finally coming up against a team where we have the bigger bodies.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised if we really try and punish them in the air. And in saying that, it might not be a bad game for Tommy Campbell, because even if he doesn't get selected, like, he'll be named emergency maybe. And then I reckon, I don't know. I reckon we might see him. on the weekend.
You reckon?
Yeah, for his first hit out. I reckon we're really going to try and push him. And I think we'll chuck Marshall. Pardon me. Maybe.
So do you reckon if Membry doesn't come in?
Yeah, if Membry doesn't come in and we want to give him another week off with a concussion protocol, I think that Tommy Campbell will come in.
Yeah. That's not
I
bad.
don't mind that call. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, also Windy and Vital and Billings on top of that. I mean, who comes in out of those three? You can't bring them all in, can you?
Like, not after that kind of win. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But like, they've all put in good effort. JB's put in about 4 good games. Like, you'd think before the bye, it's a good chance. Maybe him and I'd say him and Windy in, and then Vital the sub, and just give Pato a break. But Windy had the big game the week before. We didn't bring him in, and then he doesn't have a big game, and then Vital has a big game. Who do you pick out of those two? They've both had high 30 games in the last 2 weeks. Who do you pick?
I think
both or one.
Yeah, I reckon Windhager, just because he got on the scoreboard more.
And also just that, I mean, obviously it didn't affect us too much like we spoke about, Joycey, but the clearances, good to have Windy in there too.
Very good to have Windy in there, and especially if we need to do a little bit of a tagging role, like Jai Newcomb was running hot first half of that West Coast game, and then he copped a tag and couldn't shake it. So I think he got close to 20 disposals in the end, but he should have had a lot more. So it'd be great to get like a Windhager onto him or something like that. But I'm sure Seb Ross could do the job on Newcomb. I don't think Newcomb's that explosive. I think he's just hard at the footy, and I think Seb Ross might be able to do the job on him. But yeah, selection again, got to be very, very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, for the good reasons. Like, we've got a lot of good informed players available, and D-Mac's only probably 1 or 2 weeks away. So after the bye, D-Mac's going to be a chance, funnily enough, crazy.
Just nuts.
Love a bit of the D-Mac.
That's all that's been missing this year so far.
Yeah.
The D-Mac?
Give me some D-Mac.
Love it. All right, boys. Well, I reckon we might call it there, unless Marshy has a little minute or...
Well, does he?
Actually, yeah. No, it's not a minute, but like I was meant to say it before, but where's Tim's
he hasn't sent any in for the last month. I hope Tim's all right.
Yeah,
Timmy.
Tim,
I don't think that we bleeped him.
Nah, he's not that soft, is he?
Nah.
Oh, Jake, that's shade, bro.
Marshy, mate. Have you got a minute? Because I've got the sting here for you if you want it.
Yeah, hit it.
We just want to play the sting anyway. Just play
do it. Yeah.
Right.
Just...
Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a minute actually.
Oh, you do have a minute now.
The only thing that I was disappointed about, or not disappointed, but I feel like we could have done it just a tiny little bit better, was at the social. Fair enough when we've had a loss, like people just want to get out of Dodge. But after such a rousing victory, and I feel like people are just cutting themselves short by, just booting. As soon as the siren's gone, they're like, yep, sweet, that's us done for the day. You'd like to see people stick around for just a little sipple of some winner's piss and just get amongst your fellow Saners, because the actual game itself, like, you're caught up in it and it's a little bit hard to sort of get around everybody. But after a victory, that's like, platform 28, that's why it's always good fun, especially after a win, is because everyone just wants to just chat Saints footy. You're all in a good place.
Mate,
So.
they're all rushing home to watch the replay, Marshy.
Yeah, fair enough. If that was their excuse, then fair play. Because, but yeah, next time, Saners, if you get down to the social and we have another scrumptious victory, because it also helps out the Bentley social as well. That's a part of the reason why we're there, and they give up the venue for us to, all get amongst it. So, even if it's just a cheeky little pub squash, just stick around just for, a good 15 minutes and then wait for the traffic to ease. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
we love it.
I just realized that the outro, we usually play the song, but because I've got it preloaded as the Saints footy song, we're gonna have to get it.
Jake, this is my issue. I asked you before the Jakey's junk mail, what are we going to do at the end? And that's what
you were alluding.
Sorry,
Joyce. I thought you were, mate. There's so many innuendos with us. We've got a lot going on.
Things to come.
There's so
many exciting things to come.
Morse code, blinking like twice. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Is he having a seizure? Is he it's just him? But like, this
is what I was talking about. How am I going to finish with my cracker of a joke?
Can we just let's do it this way, yeah?
Yeah.
Just someone play it really loudly in their mic from their phone right now.
I've got Tilly next door. I got Tilly next door.
I got you. I got you, boys. Don't you worry about it. Joycey's here. Joycey will fix it.
Should we sing along?
That's why I was asking. If I had known earlier, I would have connected my little phone into my little interface here, and you would have got perfect sound and quality audio. But no, we let things happen organically at Saints TV. And yeah,
of course we do.
I'm trying to buy myself some time. I can't find it.
Wait, it's raw, mate.
Wait.
But we have to sing along now.
I reckon he's put it into the CD player. He's moving.
Has he got it on the vinyl? Has he?
I got my bag of tricks.
But while we're waiting, apparently, Kingy wasn't too enthused when singing the song. I saw that picked up somewhere.
Naughty. All right.
Oh,
it's coming.
But did you boys enjoy my? I was really emphasizing the crescendos.
You were, yeah. I loved the Dan Butler one where it went to the high note, and you would go there, but then Joycey would actually go there and actually do it justice because he can sing.
Oh yeah, who's this guy from the cheap sheet?
Cop that.
Yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, boys. I'm gonna have to disconnect my headphones for this, but let me organize it. It might.
The stuff that we do for the fans.
That's it. This is what it's about. This is Saints footy. All right.
How loud's this going to be?
Just going to do the knock knock.
We're still here, Saners. Don't worry.
Who's there? Owen. Owen who?
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
We can't hear you.
Kind of shit. That was the worst.
Give us some Auslan, mate.
Oh, no.
I could hear him unplug it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Owen.
Owen who?
I'm lost it. This is a massive fail.
Are you going to play? Just press.
How's that for a sound?
Someone's just taking a big shit.
I've tried to do it, and it's just stuffing up all over the place. Okay, knock. Who's there? Owen. Owen who?
Up the Sainers.
Up the boys. Aren't we done?
I don't know. Are we ready for the next couple of days, boys?
Oh, I don't know.
Are we done?
No, we're done. Don't worry.